Hi, everybody. Jeff Marr here, and joining me is STEM senior Grace Bielefeld. Grace, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So, the reason that we are talking to Grace, just to fill everybody in, has to do with a project that she unveiled and worked with a local artist on that actually got some attention here in Colorado from KDVR. So, she was put in the spotlight for that, along with local artist James Holmes, and it was for what you're seeing on your screen right now. And she is a Girl Scout and is pursuing the Gold Award, which is the highest award for a Girl Scout. And she collaborated with James Holmes, who again is a local artist, to put together an art piece that is on display permanently at Northridge Rec Center lobby. It has 4 panels representing 4 seasons, and this particular art piece has a lot of meaning behind it because it commemorates the anniversary of the May 7th incident at STEM School Highlands Ranch, and it's because Grace saw a opportunity to use art and mental health awareness to put together this artwork, which will again just be kind of an everlasting piece for those who are looking for comfort in a time of grief for any time throughout the year, but also especially as we continue to approach those anniversaries of the May 7th incident. So, Grace, did I have all of that correct?
Yep, sounds good.
Okay, let's talk about the project. I know that this took months for you to put together, along with that artist that you found. So, how did you? Let's start with that. How did you connect with that artist?
Sure. So I first reached out to Northridge Rec Center since I knew that was the location that I really wanted the art to be installed at. And they were the ones who actually recommended the artist whose name is James Holmes to me. And I checked him out, looked at his portfolio, and he seemed perfect for what I was going for. And so I contacted him, and it was like immediately he was like, yes, absolutely. He just jumped on the project, and so it all came together really nicely in that way.
So, for those who are not familiar with the Gold Award, as a Girl Scout, what is the Gold Award and what does it take to achieve that?
Yeah. So the Gold Award, as you said, is the highest award that you can earn in Girl Scouts. It's one of 3 what are called highest awards. So you've got bronze, silver, and gold, which are all earned at different like grade levels. They all have different requirements. For Gold Award, it's 100 hours of community service, and you're trying to solve a problem in a sustainable way that is either has a nationwide reach or a global reach. And so
Okay.
the problem that I chose was mental health, and then my like kind of solution was community art.
How long have you been attending STEM School Hounds Ranch?
I've been attending STEM since 7th grade, so this will be 6 years now.
Okay, and we just passed the second anniversary of the May 7th incident at STEM. So clearly, this has a personal connection to you, and I'm sure a lot of your friends who were there that day and teachers. Um, and it indeed was a traumatic experience for all involved, even the ones at various grade levels who were part of the evacuation and the aftermath and just the fear that comes with that sort of thing. Um, is that why you were inspired to pursue this particular project?
Yeah, the tragedy was definitely like the spark for my project. You may have also heard like the day after the incident occurred, there was a vigil that was hosted, and it eventually like ultimately resulted in a bunch of people coming together and chanting for mental health, really trying to bring awareness to it. And so I kind of recognize that as the problem that I think united all of us as students, and I think that we kind of recognized as the root of what happened. And so I wanted to tackle mental health as my problem for my Gold Award.
And when you wanted to tackle that problem, did you know immediately that you wanted to do an art piece?
I didn't. At first, I was thinking about doing like a curriculum for elementary schoolers, probably, but I realized that a lot of those kinds of systems were already in place. And so I wanted to redirect my attention to something that I was more familiar with, which is art. And I decided to have it installed somewhere that I had a connection with what happened.
Now let's talk about the art piece. 4 panels representing 4 seasons. Talk about the meaning behind that and how you collaborated with James Holmes to bring your creation to life.
Yeah, so there's a lot of symbolism in the art. And as James will tell you, it's abstract. And so you can look at it, and every time you'll come back and look at the art, you can find something different. And everybody can have their different interpretation. But in creating it, the main like ideas that we were trying to symbolize were things like growth and change and cycles. But also like we used a lot of bright colors to symbolize like hope. If you were to take the 4 panels and mark out each of the 365 days of the year, and you were to kind of mark the place where May 7th would be, we added like a heart as well as like this trail of neon paint kind of symbolizing like hope in a dark place in a way. So there's a lot of that going into it. There's also like James and all of his art has like a lifeline that connects all the paintings. So there's a lot that you can really dig into if you just take the time to look at it, I think, which is really cool.
How long did it take him to create this?
Um, so I reached out to him in I believe October, and I think he got started on it pretty soon, like not if not October, then the month after that. So maybe 6 months.
So was this a situation where you approached him, giving him the thought process of your vision and then he just ran with it? Or did you have like a rough draft that you created of what you would want it to look like?
I came to him with a lot of the ideas and like my message that I wanted to send, and he came up with all of the symbolism and the art, of course. He's the expert in that regard. And so it was kind of a collaboration. On my part, I came up with the symbolism. On his part, he brought it to life.
And how did you feel at the unveiling? How did you feel when you saw it for the first time?
My first thought was that it was huge. It's bigger than I am. Um, but I really thought like seeing it on site was really impactful because it kind of like was a culmination of all this hard work. Um, and it really like seeing it where it was installed was very much like taking this place with a lot of memories and kind of like brightening it up, really. So it was very symbolic, I thought. I don't know if that makes
Well,
sense.
the mental health aspect, since you're a senior at STEM and you have a lot of friends who are of your age group, do you see that as something that's prevalent, that is a legitimate issue that a lot of people face that maybe they don't talk about? And is there enough help out there, do you think, for those individuals who need help?
Yeah, so I've definitely got friends who have struggles with mental health, and I feel like mental health is something that everyone has a connection to in one way or another. If you aren't suffering with a mental illness, then everybody knows someone who is. So everybody has that connection. In terms of if people are able to access help, I believe that the resources are there. Um, but for one reason or another, I feel like often they aren't accessible enough, or they just aren't like made like you weren't made aware of them. And so through this project, I'm trying to like spread the message of like you are seen and you are recognized, but I'm also hoping to provide resources and ways to reach out in order to access this help more easily.
I think that there's something to be said about art that is on display permanently, or memorials for that matter, and kind of providing an ongoing education and reminder for people of the impact of such events. And that goes along the line. If you go to Washington, D.C., and you look at the various memorials there, if you go to Arlington National Cemetery, the Holocaust Museum, if you go to Columbine High School and you see those plaques that are arranged in the circle with the testimony from those who were there, that is extremely powerful out at Clement Park. And I would venture to say that the art piece that you and James Holmes put together, my hope is that it does the exact same thing. As you mentioned, it's a permanent piece there. And so people will
Mhm.
go there and reflect on it, and not only think about May 7th, but really the causes behind it and the fact that help is out there and how to reach out to people and not be afraid to reach out to them who are in need of help.
Definitely. And I wasn't exactly trying to create a memorial for what happened, but I wanted to recognize it and then kind of go beyond, and reach more people who might be struggling with mental health or know somebody who is. But
And
yeah, that is kind of the hope for the project, is that people can see it and at least feel recognized.
and tell me about the reaction from the Fox 31 segment. After that aired, did you have a lot of people reaching out to you?
I did. I had a lot of neighbors who like recorded it on their phones, which was kind of funny. But it was really like exciting, kind of just to like to reach out to so much of the community and get this kind of response that I did. Um, Lots of people kind of share the idea that mental health is important and that it should be made more aware of, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I know at our school, we've committed a lot of our resources since May 7th to mental health and counseling and what STEM Center for Strength does on a daily basis right across from the school. So it's a very important issue. Now let's talk about your future. For those who don't know, you're graduating this year. It's a class of 2021. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And where are you heading next, and what are your career plans?
I'm off to St. Olaf College, which is in Northfield, Minnesota, in the fall, which is really exciting. I'm going in undeclared, but currently my current sites, I guess, are in like the cognitive science, neuroscience areas, but I'm open to changing that. Um, Leaving my options open, pretty much.
At least you'll be accustomed to the weather in Minnesota coming from Colorado, right?
Hopefully.
Yeah,
It is cold there, though.
yeah, it is. Well, Grace, thank you so much. And just a reminder for people, if they do want to see this art piece, it is at Northridge Rec Center lobby on permanent display. And I'm assuming it's just you go there during normal hours and you can view it.
Yeah, and you don't need a pass to get in there. Even if you don't have a rec center pass, you're able to come and see it and access it. So, yeah.
Well, what a great thing that you and James Holmes put together. What an amazing legacy that will help create for the healing process from May 7th. And I think that's so important, and what a great project. Grace, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.